Sorry, this had to be version 2, number 2 video. So yes, so got there to Beef Island to check in for my flight home. And like I said, smaller airport, so there was no check-in until about an hour before the flight time. And so, you have to wait until the people come back. Which I didn't know that, but okay. And so once the people arrived back, at the time that, because they have a regular schedule, of course, of the planes fly out and all of that. So once the people returned, then we were able to actually check in, and then we, were able to go through security to the gate and all that, because we had our boarding passes and all that. And same thing, nice and small, right, waiting to walk right out to the tarmac. Planes right there. I mean, you can touch it, can reach out and touch it. Literally, not like exaggerating or anything. Now, you don't want to just reach out and touch it, of course, but it's right there. And so I really got a kick out of that. Just being like right there. And sadly, on the way back, I didn't have like the seat next to me empty. Not only that, but the person who sat down first took my seat instead of the seat that they were probably supposed to be in. I didn't make a big deal about it, whatever. And I was still enjoying myself. And so, just sat and took that flight over to Puerto Rico, to San Juan, Puerto Rico. And this was a little bit different because when you come back, you still have to go through customs. And so I should have thought that and realized that, but for whatever reason, that didn't quite register until we got there. And the way that they took us to go into the airport was not the way that I'd come out when I left San Juan. It was like this back way around through under this little tunnel and then out and up these stairs. And then you had to go through this area where if you are a U.S. resident, you go here, and if you're not, you go there, similar to the customs place when I actually got to Beef Island in U.S. Virgin Islands. And, you have to go, if you're a resident, you go here in this line. If you're not, if you're a visitor, you go here in this line. And they ask you if you're declaring anything and, check. And then, you pay this little fee and you go through. Well, now we were back in San Juan, and we, were taken through this other way, the whole group of us. And maybe for them it was normal. It was something they'd already done before. I hadn't. So then we get to customs. And so then, you show your passport and all that. And they tell you to go to the place where the flights are going to be, where you need to go and actually go through security. But I couldn't find the place. There was some signage, but it wasn't like blatant signage. And I seem to have lost like the group. So there was a group of us at first, but of course they were dispersed into the lines. And then, I don't know, maybe I was going slow because I had like luggage or whatever. I don't know. But I seem to have lost the group, and I was turned all the way around, and I'm just like wandering. Like, I don't know where to go. Where there was this little elevator we had to take up to the place where we needed to go. And I did not see it and had no clue. And thankfully, God, had mercy upon me and was gracious to me. The attendant, I think he was the flight attendant, or he was the pilot, but I think he was the flight attendant from the plane we had just come from BBI. He saw me and he's like, "Oh, where are you going?" He's like, "Are you going to Miami? Isn't that your next stop?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, no, you have to go that way, and you're gonna take this right here." And so, then I followed that direction and got to where I was going, and then I saw the sign afterwards. I was like, "Oh, okay, the sign was hiding in the space where I was supposed to be in, but I'm not sure how I was supposed to see that when I was over there, coming from the place where I was, and there was no sign pointing me to here." But anyway, that was a little adventure, and so then I got up to the place where we had to check in, and go through security. Did that, went through security, and then um, proceeded to have my layover. Ended up, one of the outreach ministries that we work with was having their annual Zoom meeting, or their annual meeting, I should say, and it was on Zoom. So since I was in layover anyway, well, I was in layover, sorry, not yet, not until I got to Miami, but I still had to wait a little bit for my flight. Um, it was a couple hours before my flight was gonna be boarding and heading out, and so during that time, I did have a time to jump on with them for Zoom for that hour, and then later that evening, uh, got it together, flew out of San Juan to Miami. And in Miami, I had a layover until the morning to come back to O'Hare, back to Chicago. And so I did that. I'm sorry, there's a siren in the background outside. I hear it, and I don't know if you can hear it too, so I apologize if you can, because it seems to be lingering and like going really slowly past. Hopefully, it's not stopping here. God have mercy and bless whoever is needing that vehicle, the emergency vehicle. So I apologize for the loudness that you probably hear in the background. They are passing, but it's like they're moaning all the way on for whatever reason. Uh, so yeah, so we got to Miami, waited over, then I got my flight to O'Hare and came back and then headed to work. Yeah, right after regular work, my secular ministry job. So yeah, and got there a little bit later than I normally would that during the daytime, but made my way to work and all that, and then closed the day with rest. So yeah, so that was the summation of the trip. It was awesome, amazing. It was wondrous. Beautiful photos I got. Like I said, Covenant always meets me in the islands. Um, the Hawaiian Islands happen to be my favorite place in the world thus far. Uh, and I'm daily, I end up seeing rainbows there. Most times I'm there on vacation when I go. Sometimes a little work, but mostly vacation. But this time it wasn't vacation, so I didn't get to like take a whole lot of photos with sun and island and water and sunrises and sunsets. No, it was work. It was ministry, but the we were on time clocks, and we were getting the most out of the time we were there in terms of ministering to others, in terms of meeting the needs of others. And so a blessing, such a blessing it was to be there. The people of BVI are top notch. They are such loving, hospitable people. Um, every variety that you can think of. You can see the beauty of God there in their country as well as in the people there, and how they welcome, how they help one another, how they love one another, how they receive. I'm sure there are, you know, other ways to see that could be more in the negative, but my experiences were so positive all the way around. Everyone that I met, everyone that I encountered, every place that we went to minister, every place that we gathered together with people of God, just awesome and amazing. And so I look forward to returning to their country many times. I only touched on 4 of the islands. I believe there are 8. I could be wrong about that, 7 or 8. So I have some to still visit, but I do plan to be at their conference annually, if possible, whether they have me as speakers or not, but just in support and in prayer and in ministry. So yes, so that was the trip to BVI, the ministry trip to Advancing the Kingdom conference that was hosted by Adonai Arts Worship Center and the Eagles Network, EITI graduates, those of us, the ones who are in BVI, which there are quite a few of them there, as well as their sister Eagles in and 10 in the Caribbean Sea. So all around, both on the American side and on the British side. So yes, it was awesome, amazing, and wonderful. Pray much for Night Arts Worship Center. Pray much for all of the people who were involved in the conference in BVI, that the kingdom would be advanced in BVI and all around the world. All right, love you all so much. Blessings and shalom, shalom.